Our first song that we're going to sing is called the Trail of Tears song, and this is very special to us. You know, it was a lot of people think it was a fiction, but it's not. It really happened. So this is very, it touches our heart, But this is one of the songs that sang Dirty Trail of Tears song. So if you know it, I know some of you people know it, just sing along with us, okay?
Squatting says the Yehovah, Ela diga Israel, Jiwanaga liuaya, Jasini gitini, Nigo hila, skisteli skisti yogo, Nigo hila, skisteli skisti yogo. Nawotika nugogai, anawoskistu isi, ajilana ulogila, egaiha isesti. Skisteliski, diski ganawadida. Skisteliski, diski ganawadida. Galasina uwelaya, Jordani uweyangi, Skiohistan elaguno, Aquelistiskai. Skisteliski, Tohideski sastana, Nigo hila, Dodagano gistani.
Definitely feel the emotion in that singing. We're so glad you joined us for the opening of our Courtyard of the Cherokee Outdoor Arts and Culture exhibit. And I am going to read this because I had to write like a bunch of pages so I could remember everything. This project has been in the making for over 3 years. It began with a grant through the Graham Revitalization Economic Action Team. Great, and I always try to get that mouthful out first. It was funded by the North Carolina Forest Service's Urban and Community Forest Program. The grant provided funding for Virginia Tech's Community Design Assistance Center to complete our site design and master plan for the grounds. This project was completed in May 2015, and we applied for the first round of funding from the Joy Pope Memorial Grant in that year for the site design implementation, but it wasn't funded. We contacted Jason Gilliland with the Site Design Studio and contracted with him to provide a conceptual plan for the Courtyard of the Cherokee and applied again in late 2016. Last January, I received a call on my cell phone, and it came up Variety Wholesalers. I thought it was a sales call. The woman on the other end started talking about our grant application, and it was the Joy Pope Memorial Grant in the Arts, and said we were the one recipient in all of North Carolina and had been awarded $100,000 for our Courtyard of the Cherokee project. I remember I kept saying, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" And in the back of my mind, I was wondering, is somebody playing a joke? I mean, how would they know we even applied or, anything? And anyway, the lady, it was legit. The lady on the other end of the phone was Lindsay Hollingsworth, and she couldn't be here today, but we've worked together ever since. Lesson from this is always answer your cell phone calls. Lindsay and Pope Foundation board member David Stover traveled here last May for the groundbreaking ceremony. David has traveled back to the West for today's opening, and he'd like to say a few words about why the foundation chose us and the Courtyard project. So David, if you want to come up.
Well, like Beth, I have some prepared comments, but I don't do too well with those sometimes, and I kind of ad lib. But I'm just dumbfounded by this beautiful facility that y'all collaboratively worked on. She said I was here in May. I could hear and feel vision, but now we can see it. It's unbelievable, and this is a real asset to your community, teamwork, volunteerism, and so many special people who have special feelings about this wonderful land. It's an honor to be here today to see this finished project, the Courtyard of the Cherokee. It's a wonderful addition and complements the extensive work that's already taken place in this building. A beautiful schoolhouse with a lot of history, and that y'all weren't, in a lot of places around the state, they tear things down. And what y'all do is build it back up and repurpose it and make it even better. So kudos to y'all. Our foundation, the John William Pope Foundation, is based in Raleigh. And while we support a diverse number of nonprofits, our giving to the arts groups is directed primarily to nonprofits in the Research Triangle area. We do that because we're small and we just don't have the manpower to get across the state. To be able to physically meet our grantees like you guys, know the community issues, and work alongside them is very important to us. So when we get involved with groups, we want to become part of you and not kind of talk down or whatever, because you are the people that know everything about the community, and we value that. But we also know that innovation and creativity is happening all through North Carolina. When our foundation created the Joy Pope Memorial Grant for the arts in late 2015, it gave us a chance to acknowledge nonprofits across the state for their creative and resourceful ideas. We've received over 100 applications, Beth was talking about, from arts groups all over the state in the past 3 years. We've hosted many of these people. We've had the proposals come in, and y'all had a fantastic proposal which we acted on. Today, 3 organizations have received grants: the Fayetteville Symphony Orchestra, Stecoah Cultural Arts Center, and just this year, the Stokes County Art Center have each received $100,000 grants. With those gifts, you are transforming your community with arts programs for all ages and facilities that enrich and preserve North Carolina and your cultural heritage. As you open the Courtyard of the Cherokee today, the Pope Foundation wants you to know we are absolutely delighted to be a part of this project. As industry and business grows in North Carolina and evolves, our urban areas boom. But we know that some of the greatest treasures are found in some of our small communities that have true heritage and cultural enrichment. The Cherokee culture is an important part of our state, our story, and we greatly appreciate your dedication and devotion to incorporating traditional form of arts in your community. And I can tell you the state of North Carolina can learn a great deal from you guys. I would like to say a couple words about Joy Pope, who the memorial is named after. Joy was a wonderful lady. She passed a couple years ago, but I was thinking last night before I came up here, there were 4 pillars in her life. The first was faith in God, faith in what you believe in. Second was her pillar of family. The third was nature, and I knew Mrs. Pope my whole life. And when I say nature, I talk about gardening. She would be elated to see this out here right now. I mean, gardening was a real passion for her. And then fourth, the arts. So this became just a natural for us. When we saw this, arts, nature, heritage, culture, we said we're all in, and we're proud to be here. Because of the work of your founder and first executive, Lynn Shields, and your current director, Ms. Beth Fields, your staff and your dedicated volunteers, Stecoah Valley is a model for other small communities throughout the state to seek in bringing arts to the forefront of our culture. And we need that, folks. Arts are so broad and so interpretive, and in this day and age, we couldn't ask for more. And through our grant, and it may be a one-time gift, we want to continue sharing your work all across the state. And as you can tell, I like to talk, and I will talk about Stecoah Arts Center. And I want to thank you for including us in this beautiful facility, and I want to congratulate you personally and your staff and your volunteers for making this happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, David. We also applied to the Cherokee Preservation Foundation for artisan outreach as part of this project. And before that grant was funded, we started the outreach by attending a snowbird community meeting and inviting folks in the snowbird community to be on our committee, because we really had no idea what exactly we wanted to convey in the exhibit, and more importantly, why was it important to the Cherokee people. Our volunteer committee consists of Roger Smoker, B.J. Welch, Louise Reed, Marcia Hollifield, and Nathan Bush. It was immediately obvious to me that the snowbird community is different than other communities on the reservation, and I thought about the importance of recognizing and honoring this community right here in Graham County. The committee steered our work throughout the last summer, and we hired Anna Ferriello to design our exhibit panels based on committee recommendations and extreme vetting of the content by the committee and EBCI Cultural Resources Director, TJ Holland. And I understand that TJ has been ill, so we just say a prayer for him and his family. We wanted to include the Cherokee syllabary in the panels, and we learned from Roger that the snowbird community had their own unique dialect. So we worked with Anna to translate into their dialect within the syllabary. All while this was going on behind the scenes, Glenn Woods, Alvin Carringer, Eddie Crisp, Sterling Crisp, and Daniel Peavy were hard at work building this 800-square-foot deck and digging out the asphalt parking lot to provide these beautiful gardens. Next, we were on to the artwork. When I first met Nathan Bush, he came to the center after hours, and showed me how he pounds copper in the traditional way using a deer antler. He even gave me a pair of earrings that he had pounded out. I learned that he worked with William Rogers and J.R. Wolfe. They did the Eternal Flame sculpture that is the rightful centerpiece of the courtyard. When they delivered it, I was fascinated by the spider and the lore surrounding it. It's my understanding is that the people who lived here began making pottery around 3,000 years ago. Archaeologists tell one story of pottery, and Cherokee tell another. The Cherokee tell the story of the spider who spun a little bowl and lined it with clay. Carrying it on her back, she placed a burning ember inside, hardening her pot with fire. Thus, the spider is considered the inventor of both pottery and fire making. This short story is told to demonstrate that there are critical differences in interpretation between systems of academic and traditional knowledge. Then there is B.J. Welch, who carves the mask of the 7 clans. First time I met BJ was at his studio in Snowbird. I sat outside and watched him carve, paying very close attention to his hands, and amazed that they were an extension of his mind and spirit, because there is no other way to make such beautiful art. The masks on the exhibit panels here are actual photographs of his wood-carved mask, and inside we have a loaned exhibit from BJ of the mask, which include the turtle, which is, there's 7 clans in the turtle, and the turtle can represent any of the clans. In summary, the courtyard of the, well, I'm going to talk some more, but In summary, the Courtyard of the Cherokee is an outdoor Cherokee arts and culture exhibit intended to educate and bring awareness to the public about the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, especially the snowbird community here in Graham County. The entrance of the courtyard has a wayside that describes the eternal flame, the 1830s removal, and the snowbird mountains. The large panels on the windows overlooking the deck describe the sacred number 7, the mask of the 7 clans, and a detailed description of each clan with a photo of each representative mask. When the panels were delivered, all the staff came out and we were like, well, I wonder if we were Cherokee, which clan we would belong to. So we've learned so much through this project. I'll tell you later who I think I might belong to. These panels also include the use of mask in ceremonies and other type of mask, including booger mask, not carved from wood. The exhibit also brings awareness of the Cherokee syllabary, and the headers are translated into the snowbird dialect, which is different from the Cherokee dialect. Lastly, the courtyard gardens feature native trees and plants used by the Cherokee for arts, medicinal value, and basic survival. The centerpiece flame sculpture also depicts the spider and the 7 clans mask pounded into copper and attached to the steel frame base. The importance of this exhibit and how it benefits the tribe is not all known at this time, but it is known that it benefits the snowbird community by educating the public about the fact that there are other tribal lands in western North Carolina, and their differences are comparative to the differences in the clans themselves. The Courtyard Committee includes many members of the snowbird community who directed the entire project for its authenticity, cultural correctness, and artworks. The next phase of this project is artisan support and public education through Cherokee arts classes, which we hope to have right out here in this courtyard. Marketing of the exhibit, because now we've built it and now we need people to come. And that it's intended to increase Cherokee artisan income through our artisan gallery and visitors to Graham County and Stecoah Valley Center. So at this time, I'd like to recognize all the other people whose mind and spirit came out through their hands in transforming this asphalt, really ugly parking lot into this beautiful courtyard honoring the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. And as I call your name, if you would come up, please, and stand with me, I'd appreciate it. First, I'd like to introduce the artists. The sculpture that's in the center out here by Rogers Metals, William Rogers, Nathan Bush, and J.R. Wolf. If y'all would come up. Anna Ferriello of Curatorial Insights for the designing of the exhibit panels. Roger Smoker for translating the syllabary into the snowbird dialect, and B.J. Welch for the wood-carved masks. I would also like to recognize the landscape artist Jason Gilliland of the Site Design Studio for using his hands in the landscape architecture design, and also Karen Taylor of Taylor's Greenhouse for changing Jason's designs into this beautiful garden, and David Kozo of the Cooperative Extension for his input on the types of plants and trees we used in the courtyard. I'd like to thank TJ Holland, I know he's not here, for vetting the information that's in the exhibit, so it's not only factually correct, it is also culturally authentic. None of this would have been possible without our board of directors and staff. And if y'all are working, I know you can't come up here, but I'd like to recognize our board and staff. Jeremy Brown, who's doing our filming and sound. Steve Claxton, Rick Davis, Sarah Davis, Elise Delfield, Bonnie Dodson, Teresa Garland, Marcia Hollifield, Suzanne Hyde, Joyce Jenkins, Karen Michler, Christy Norcross, and Darlene Waycaster. They were our board of directors when we first undertook this project. And if you're a current board member, thank you for your input since then. And then I'd also like for them to come up when I call the people that used their hands to build this. Alvin Carringer, Eddie Crisp, Sterling Crisp, Melinda Dehart, Jennifer West, and Glenn Woods. How about a round of applause for these fine folks? None of this would have been possible without our funders as well. David from the John William Pope Foundation, the Cherokee Preservation Foundation, and the North Carolina Arts Council. And I'll ad-lib here a little bit because I want to talk to you about how things like this provide economic development in our small community. So the county commissioners agreed, we lease these facilities from Graham County government, and they agreed to put a new roof on the building. Then we got this grant. Then we got a grant to do the rooftop units and upgrade the HVAC systems throughout the main building. Then we got another grant to do some painting, and so on and so on. And then the private donations that we get to support our operations. And then the extra exhibit now that we have here that will help us with our tourism initiatives. So people have another reason to come here to Graham County to Stecoah Valley Center. So thank you all very much. And at this time, the Welch family, Alfred and Maybell, will sing again. And Micah Swimmer is going to lead us in a friendship dance for those of you, and I hope it's every one of you that would like to participate. After the dance, we welcome you back inside. We're going to have some food and fellowship. Please also see the artwork of the students that B.J. Welch teaches in Robbinsville. And we ask, too, that you use your hands by taking and planting a Cherokee purple tomato plant. There's a whole table of them out in the auditorium. And that you remember this day and enjoy your tomatoes. You can dry the seeds after you've grown them. And I'd also like to, I don't know if we had our RSVP list, if everybody RSVP'd, but I'd also like to recognize the chief of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, Richard Sneed, Vice Chief Alan Inslee. I'd like to also recognize Drew Christie from Governor Roy Cooper's office and Russ Harris from the Southwest Commission. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. Thank you very much. Anna designed the panels, and this is the first time she actually had these photos of Billy's mask, and this is the first time they're meeting.
Everybody sing with us. This is a familiar song. We're going to do one English first and one Cherokee, so everybody sing along with us. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Unefana iuweji ika kuya hei. Like wood Joshua, we know say ika kuya hono. When we've been there
Okay, I'm not finished speaking. I'm remiss to not also recognize Bucky Brown, the tribal representative of the snowbird community in Cherokee County. Also Ruben T. Sateski. And Roger said that maybe Vice Chief Alan Inslee would like to come up and say a few words. Alan, if you would like to do that, you have the opportunity. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great occasion, and I really didn't know what I was getting into. Roger, he invited me down, but after I got up and got to reading about everything today and coming down here, and I'm usually go to Snowbird 2 or 3 times a week with Roger. After showing up here, I was kind of really amazed at the whole everything that's being built here. I knew the Stecoah school had been here for seemed like forever, but 1926. But I am totally amazed, and our Cherokee people, we come from the mountains here, so with our traditions and culture and everything, it's just totally amazing. So thank you for allowing me to say a few words. So, yep.
All right, let's dance, people. Where are you? There you are. Don't be shy. Come on, I'm going to do it too.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to circle up down there around that garden area. All you guys that want to dance, we need as many people as we can. So come on down.